This video is all about troubleshooting problems with the scrubber. The goal is that you can understand some of the issues that are happening with the scrubber so you do not have to call the office immediately. If you notice, this person is leaving a lot of suds behind. That means that it is not sucking up the dirty water properly. There could be a couple reasons for that. The first of the options is that this hose, which is underneath, that black hose that you see, is responsible for sucking up the water and putting it into the dirty water tank. It's happened before that hose becomes disconnected, and so it's not fully sucking up the water. So how do you figure out if that's disconnected? The easiest option is to actually pull the squeegee from the side. Here, Janelle is going to show you that if you kind of twist the squeegee out in the lowered position, so you want it in the down position, twist it, and then you have to kind of lift it up over the lip of the scrubber head, and then you can actually pull out and see that black hose. This way you'll be able to see if that hose is disconnected. To put it back together, it's almost easier if you put that squeegee back in and underneath the machine. Once you know what you're doing, then you can reach under and you can work to reconnect that hose onto its position. When you're all done, you'll just want to go ahead and put that squeegee back into its regular position, and you should be ready to go. Another problem that we've noticed is sometimes you'll kind of hear a squeaking sound coming from the machine, and that's most likely this wheel. If it isn't spinning freely, there's most likely hair or lint stuck in that wheel, and so you're going to want to look at it really closely to see if you can pull those hairs out to clean that wheel out so it stops squeaking. It's a really good idea to wipe that off daily after each shift or every time you use the machine with your rag. That will help prevent that problem. I'm not sure if we've had this problem yet because these squeegees are really high quality, but if you ever notice that there's some streaks or lines that aren't being sucked up, just check that squeegee to make sure there are no nicks in it. Sometimes you may find that there is no water actually coming out of the machine. First of all, make sure that you actually put water in the clean water tank. Second, make sure that hose is not disconnected. The second problem that can happen with that black hose is you can actually develop a clog in there. This comes from a lot of different options. One of them could be from not pre-cleaning very well and sucking up a lot of dirt and debris and lint and stuff off the floor. And eventually that hose is kind of going to clog up. And so the couple different ways to unclog that. The first of those options is to kind of take apart the back of this machine. So right there are two screws that we have a special 4mm kind of wrench to use. And inside that back panel, there are two hoses. The hose on the right side is the vacuum hose, and you do not want to get any water in that hose. That will ruin the motor of our machine. But on the left side is the hose that runs down to the floor, that black hose we've looked at, and up into the machine. If you pull the lid off, you can tell for sure which side is which because the vacuum hose has that mesh part and the other side is where the water gets sucked from the floor. So when you pull that back layer off, you'll be able to see these two hoses, and you can pull the one on the left off and you can see if you can find the plug. And if you can't find that clog and be able to pull it out on its own, you have the option to take your hose and back flush down to the floor. So you're gonna make the water go in the opposite direction. And when you do that, you can sometimes get clogs like this. The second option is this video that Janelle made, and I'm not gonna voice over.
Today I'm gonna show you how to backwash the B16 floor scrubber to prevent any plugging issues that there might be. So first of all, what you're gonna wanna do is drop your squeegee, and then you're gonna wanna turn the squeegee, and you get to a point where you're gonna hit this. So simply just lift up on it and then keep sliding. And what you're gonna eventually see is this black tube right here, okay? This particular scrubber has a clamp on it. Now, not all of ours have clamps on, but you're gonna wanna just loosen it a bit just to get it so you can disconnect the black tube. Okay, so when you get that done, I have found it's a lot easier to bring the squeegee back down and then just kind of wedge on that black tube till it disconnects. Okay, so that's what it should look like. Next thing what we're going to do is we're gonna push button number 1, okay, and button number 2, which is our power button, and then our vacuum button, okay? And that's gonna create a vacuum, okay? See? So we've got pretty good suction there. And then what we're gonna do next is take our hose in our utility sink, and we're going to fit the two together. And they actually fit in there pretty good, okay? And you'll hear it kind of make a different noise. Then just unkink it, and basically what you're doing is you're pushing water back through this hose up into the dirty water tank. So just kind of let it go for a few minutes just to make sure that you're pushing anything through that black tube that might be in there that could be clogged, okay? Then when you let it run for a little bit, we're gonna kink it back up. Okay, turn off the water. And then you just want to kind of create that, hold that like that, just so it'll push anything back through that still might be in there, okay? All right, when you get that done, you can turn your machine off. And then we're gonna open up the lid to the dirty water tank. And you're gonna see, look how much water we pushed back through there. Now, in looking through ours, it looks pretty clear. There's really no black chunks or anything like that. So that tells me that our tube is clear and any water that we put down on the floor should be picked up, okay? The final step then is to get the hose put back together. So then I just like to come back down again, push the squeegee back, find the other black piece and connect them together. Make sure that if you do have a clamp on your machine, that you bring it back. And it's easier for me to slide. And like I said, slide, lift, and slide. And we don't want to make this too tight, but just enough to secure it. And then I'm just going to tighten, tighten, tighten until I got it to the point where I know it's going to hold the two black ends together. And then we should be set. Simply slide your squeegee back and you're set. And it's nice to do this at the end of each shift just in case you did suck something up that maybe when you were dry dusting you didn't get. It's just really good maintenance.
I think that's a really good maintenance option for places that are extremely dirty, and I couldn't have said it better. One of the most random repairs we've had to do recently is actually when the belt came off of the scrubber. One of the easiest ways to diagnose this is actually to turn the machine on its side. But before you do that, you want to make sure that the water tank, the dirty water tank especially, is completely empty and dried out. If you get any water in that vacuum hose, again, you will destroy the machine. The second thing is to remove the battery, which you saw in the general information video. And if you don't remember or didn't watch it, go back and watch that video first. Then once you've removed the battery, we can actually turn it on its side. You're going to want to turn it on the side of the wheel. It's going to give it the proper stability so that you don't wreck anything as you're flipping it over. So flip it towards the side of the caster wheel, and that allows the machine to turn over far enough that you can see the complete underside. From here, you can tell if the belt has been removed or has fallen off, because you should be able to see it when you're not really supposed to be able to see it, or in a different spot than it should be. While you have the machine on its side, it's really a good time to check the squeegee or other parts of the machine to make sure no hoses are disconnected or anything needs to be cleaned. This is a picture of one of the belts that became disconnected on one of our machines, just to help give you an idea. Hopefully this information is helpful in diagnosing some of the problems that can happen with machines. I'm sure other issues will arise, but this is a good start.